So ever since my CNC conversion, I've had a few little teething problems I've been trying to get around. One of them is being backlash, and another one is my motors. Every once in a while, when I'm rapiding one way or another, I was losing steps. The motor was locking up, making a god-awful noise. I've been chasing that around and around and around, lowering my rapids, and come to the conclusion with my motors and my drivers, there's no reason why I should be running as slow as I have been. So I've been able to get up to about 1800 millimeters a minute. Seems to be what my machine maximum is going to cut anyways. I can only get 4500 RPM out of my high speed spindle right now. So where I came to this conclusion that my Gibs were too tight and what I did to adjust it. What I was noticing is I'd run the machine for a few days. I'd have backlash compensation set up and things set, and I'd notice all of a sudden my backlash would increase or decrease, mostly increase. And I was like, well, what's going on with this? Why am I accumulating more and more backlash? So after, like I said, a fair bit of reading, etc., with the ways, what I did is I loosened my ways right off. I cranked them in so that they were not in play at all. Then I, using a dial test indicator, mounted in my my spindle, indicating up against the edge of my vise. I was able to set what my backlash is of just my lead screw. I don't have a ball screw on this, just the stock lead screw. So I set my backlash of what the actual nut is. It had nothing to do with anything else other than that. I then proceeded to tighten the Gibs of each axis slowly until I noticed a clear amount of backlash where the Gibs were dragging, and I think that was part of my issue. So I made adjustments to my Gibs so that I was not accumulating backlash with too much drag. So after doing that, I go into motor tuning, and I'm actually able to put my rapids up quite a bit higher. Oops, wrong menu. Motor tuning. I'll show you. I can repeat it now if I crank up my velocity in my y-axis. I'm going to go all the way up to 2600, and you'll see what. Sorry, I might have been covering the speaker here. I was at 1800 millimeters a minute. I just cranked up my Y all the way to as high as it'll go, 26, and I got 400 millimeters per second for my acceleration. And you can hear the sound that I was getting out of the motor. You'll notice that wasn't even changing direction. It was going in one direction, and all of a sudden it seems like the steps past what the motor can actually deliver. So if I put this back down, I've noticed that every once in a while I'm getting it at 2000 millimeters a minute as well. I'm going to go back to 1800. Just save the settings. Acceleration, I did notice the acceleration did make a bit of a difference, but mostly it's been the rapid speeds. So now, my X, Y, and Z are all set up at the same 1800 with 400 velocity. Seems to be working good. My backlash has stayed consistent. I mean, with stock screws, you're not going to have the greatest as it is. It's definitely something I want to go to a ball screw. Just finances aren't in the cards right now for that. 1143, 1016, and 0316 for my X, Y, and Z respectively. So 20% speed for backlash. I'm fairly happy. If anyone has any ideas, if I'm barking up the wrong tree, or if I'm going at this maybe a bit wrong, chicken for the egg kind of thing, what would cause this? The motors and drivers, what I'm using is, I'll put it on the screen, but it's the digital driver package that Haas recommended. Yeah.